Three, two, 3, 2 before I let you go. Whoa, I will never, 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 never let you go before I go. Hey, yo, welcome back to another episode of the Arts Block Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Curry the Third. Thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode of the Arts Block Podcast. Today, what we have in store for you guys, we will be talking about the new Kendrick Lamar drop. We'll be talking about Shannon Sharpe, IG Live. Hey now, Unc. Hey now, Unc. I see you, Unc. Taraji P Henson called herself the greatest actor of all time. Excuse me. And last but not least, if we get to touch on this, Pharell and Chad are no longer on speaking terms. The Neptunes are not Neptuning. All right. But before we get into any of that, just make sure y'all know we go through this every week. And I'm mad because a lot of y'all aren't following the directions. I feel like a lot of y'all don't know how to follow the directions, but it's okay because that's why I'm here. So this is what I'm going to need y'all to do. I'm going to need y'all to like. I'm going to need y'all to comment. I'm going to need y'all to subscribe. I'm going to need y'all to turn on post notifications so y'all can be notified every time we post. Listen, guys, these steps, they only take 4 presses of a button. You only have to press a button. You have to press a button to like. You have to press a couple of buttons to comment. I lie. You got to press a couple of buttons to comment. But then you just got to press another button to turn on post notifications. You gotta press another button to subscribe. That's it. That's all you gotta do, and that's for YouTube. If you listening on your favorite podcast platform, it's easier to do that. It's way easier because all you gotta do is give me a 5-star and review. All you gotta do is just click 5 stars, and then under the review section, guess what you have to say. All you have to say is, this is the greatest podcast that you have ever heard. And that will suffice. Guys, this week has been crazy. It's been a lot of craziness in the news. It's been a lot of bad takes in the news. A lot of you guys make me feel ashamed to be a podcaster. Like, when I tell people that I have a podcast, the response I get isn't of like, "Ooh, you got a podcast? Ooh, you got a podcast?" It's like, "Oh my goodness, you got a podcast?" Like, that's the response that I get from people when I tell them I have a podcast. But you guys be making me feel so ashamed. Because I be sitting here and watching your clips go viral, and I'm not hating on nobody making their bread or anybody getting a viral moment. I'm not hating on that. I would never be mad at anybody for having that. But I'm mad at the things that y'all are saying with these viral moments. Oh, by the way, I'm recording at daytime. Just in case y'all couldn't see, I'm recording at daytime. I think I'm going to start recording these pods at daytime, just because I can still have a night time. You feel me? And not have to stay up super late at night. So and have more energy for the pod because I just felt energetic. I was like, you know what? Let me just hop on the pod right now. And yeah, so I'm recording at daytime. Also, if you're watching on YouTube and you like, oh, it's bright outside, yes, because it's daytime. But back to what I was saying. I'm tired of hearing y'all bad takes online. I'm tired of hearing y'all talk he say, she say, no say. So that's why we're here on the Arts Block Podcast today. First thing on the docket, Kendrick Lamar dropped a new song. I was enjoying my Wednesday night. I came back from the La Russell concert. La Russell had put on an amazing show down in Brooklyn, right on Marcy Ave. No, not on Marcy Ave, on Myrtle Ave, excuse me. Put on an amazing show right off of Myrtle Ave. Amazing show, packed show. Me and my boy Kev went. Shout out to my boy Kev. I came back home just to discover that Kendrick dropped a new track. Oh my goodness. It doesn't even have a name. I call it Watch the Party Die, and boy, is the party going to die. Now, in this song, Kendrick is basically just talking about his grievances and his opinions and what he sees is wrong with the industry. Not just when it comes to rappers, but when it comes to media personalities, people in radio, people that got podcasts, people that just talk, right? Or just artists in general. He pinpoints every medium in hip hop and be like, this is what's wrong with this part of hip hop. This is what's wrong with that part of hip hop. This is what's wrong with this part of hip hop. And him saying, I want to fix all of this, right? If you haven't watched it, I mean, if you haven't listened to the song, please go listen to the song. It's on his Instagram. The song is fire. Let me preface before all the Kendrick fans come at me with hate and their pickaxes, their hip hop pickaxes and torches, and they want to burn me at the stake and light me on fire because if I don't like anything Kendrick does, apparently I don't like hip hop. Listen, that's what I've been getting from all of the comments that I've been hearing. If I don't like anything Kendrick Lamar does, if I don't like anything, or if I just give a little critique of what I think Kendrick could be doing better, I don't like hip hop. I know nothing about hip hop, and I'm not a real fan of hip hop. And you know what? Hey, hey man, what can you do? What can you say, man? What can you say? I guess, I guess I only grew up around hip hop my whole life. My first ever concert I've ever been to in life was only the Blueprint 3 tour, Jay-Z. That was only my first concert ever that I've ever in life. I don't know, but I'm not a fan of hip hop. Me and my mom used to literally rap Run This Town, and I could rap the Jay-Z and Kanye, both Jay-Z verses and the Kanye verse flawlessly. But hey man, I don't know nothing about hip hop. My mom had Kanye West the VH1 Storytellers on DVD. I think she still has that on DVD. She has it on DVD and used to watch it all the time. But hey man, hip hop ain't, I don't know. Me no hip hop. if I disagree with Kendrick, no hip hop. Me no hip hop. I don't, sorry, me no hip hop. But yeah, so Kendrick, it was a great song. I love him, how he was rapping over that smooth beat. I love like just what he was saying, his delivery and what he was saying. However, and there's a lot of hypocrisy here. Now, Kendrick didn't. Now, if y'all didn't watch the Super Bowl, Kendrick Super Bowl commercial or his Super Bowl announcement, excuse me, Kendrick basically referenced Drake in the Super Bowl announcement and said, "Hey, you only get to win the championship one time. You only get to play in the championship one time. There's no round twos. You don't get a round two." And I agree. You only have, listen, Drake talking about no round two. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow, brother. You missed your chance. There is no round two. Kendrick and I totally agree. There's no round two. There shouldn't be a round two. We saw what happened. You lost. You didn't put your best foot forward the first time. There shouldn't be a second time, period. However, Kendrick, you can't say there's no round twos, then release a song dissing the whole industry. Like, you can't, like, what are you doing? Why are we, and I'm tired of this savior of hip hop thing that Kendrick is playing right now. I'm tired of it. I'm getting sick of this savior of hip hop thing. It was cool when he was beefing with Drake, but now it's not necessarily so cool. This song showed me that Kendrick thinks that he has more power with he thinks that he can shift a whole generation. He think him by himself can change a generation. Let me explain. The world is only getting younger. That shit ain't, we're not getting older. We're only getting younger. Sooner or later, the 35, 40-year-old people that Kendrick's core audience is, they're going to die out. There's more young niggas who don't want to hear that shit than there are young niggas who do want to hear that shit. So you can't be like, hey, we're about to change the whole artscape of hip hop. That means you're going to have to change the listening ears of millions of people. And I don't think that he understands how crazy that sounds for him to do it alone. Now, if he has a plan, if he has a team of people, if there's like 50 rappers that are willing to do whatever they need to do to change how hip hop looks, to change how hip hop media looks, to change how everything looks, that's cool. But as long as Drake is the biggest stream artist, as long as the mainstream, the radios, the everybody, and not saying Kendrick isn't a mainstream artist because he is the mainstream artist, right? But as long as the mainstream is the music that Kendrick is referring to when he was like, hey bro, all y'all are trash, then listen, all right, let me slow down. if the music, a lot of your favorite, a lot of the people who are agreeing with Kendrick when it comes to his points, right? A lot of the points in his song were like, hey, listen, man, this music's trash. We need to let it go. A lot of these podcasters, a lot of these radio personalities are trash. We need to let them go too. That's what he means by watch the party die, right? Like I just want to watch the whole industry die out, and I want to rebuild the industry that we're going to burn down and rebuild. That's basically what he's saying, right? I want y'all to know that a lot of your favorite artists are the artists that he's talking about when he said he wants to burn the industry down. When he said he wants everybody to burn down. A lot of your favorite artists are those artists. So y'all are sitting here being like, oh man, Kendrick is so right. Kendrick is so right. And I sound like a Kendrick hater, but I'm not. I love Kendrick Lamar so much. But the only reason I'm saying it like this is because I love him so much as an artist. It's like, yo, we want to watch everything burn down. Cool. Hey, you know what? Yeah, who's your top 5? Smoking on top 5, right? But I hope you know Little Johnny and Little Keisha and everybody watching this. I hope you know your favorite artist is a part of that. Your favorite artist 9 times out of 10 is a part of that. Is a part of that. Hey, we need to let these people burn out. We need to let these people die. We need to let these people go because the art is getting oversaturated. A lot of your favorite artists are the people oversaturating the art. And that's the point that he's making. A lot of your favorite artists are the people that are cosplaying the culture. That's what he's speaking towards. You feel me? A lot of the people that he's speaking of, the roots isn't implemented in hip hop. I remember watching an interview with Nip. I forgot who he was talking about, but Nip was talking about someone, and he was like, "Yeah, I can just tell." He was like, "I can just tell when that." Cuz don't come from the culture. A lot of your favorite artists now, today, they're not cut from the culture and the cloth of hip hop. But however, I feel like the culture and the cloth of hip hop needs to change. So if that's what Kendrick is also referring to when he says let the party die, like, hey, this thing that we call hip hop, it has been the same, or the business motto has been the same culturally, not mainstream, but culturally for 50 years. Culturally, everything has been the same and hasn't changed. There has to be a change. That's why you have podcasts like the Artist About Podcast, because I feel like there has to be change. And I agree with that point. I agree that for the past 50 years, we have had the same mentality of rappers. We've had the same mentality on music. We've been having the same mentality on who's hot or who's not. We've been having the same mentality on rapping ability. We've been putting these people in the same boats and categories. It's the same thing with like the Michael Jordan and LeBron debate. I understand those are the two greatest, but they played in two different eras. You feel me? So I feel like as the era changes, the culture has to change with the times. However, the culture is still prisoners of the past, and they're still caught up in, oh, well, this rapper was doing this back in the day. This rapper was doing that, but nigga, nobody gives a damn. But also, on the flip side of that, that's also the problem. Nobody cares about the past. Nobody cares about learning the past. I was saying that earlier on like another pod episode. It was a while ago I said this. I don't remember what pod. I was referring to Lil Yachty though. And I was talking about how Lil Yachty just like not too long ago listened to Reasonable Doubt for the first time. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. You're an artist. You're a platinum selling artist. You're a rapper, and you haven't listened to the classic albums. You don't know where the culture comes from, right? However, so I also think that's important. I think two things can be true at once. I think Kendrick can be doing the right thing, but also be doing the wrong thing at the same time. I think this can be a genius move by Kendrick, but also be a very hypocritical and stupid move by Kendrick as well. I feel like two things can definitely be true at the same time. But however, the reason why Kendrick can get away with something like this is because he has something called petty privilege. What is petty privilege, Eric? You know, let me try again. You know, pretty privilege, like when a girl or a guy is just so pretty and beautiful that they can get whatever they want, and you know they can talk to anybody they want, and you know just doors open for them just based off of their attraction, right? Well, Kendrick has that, but just with pettiness. People love how petty Kendrick is so much that he can damn near get away with murder. He can do anything. But as long as it's petty, as long as it fits in the degree of pettiness that Kendrick has, and I'm glad that he's hitting this stride now. I'm glad that he's finding this bag now because he's capitalizing off this bag quite well post beef. Like, he has petty privilege, bro. Kendrick is so petty. No matter what he does, he can post something cryptic, something people are going to break it down and be like, oh, Kendrick means da 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 da. Kendrick has petty privilege. A lot of the people that we're going to talk about today has petty privilege. Taraji has petty privilege. I don't know if Taraji don't have petty privilege because every time Taraji get petty, they try to cancel her. But Shannon Sharpe for sure has petty privilege. Pharell, we don't talk about Pharrell's petty enough, in my opinion. But yes, so back to this Kendrick record, right? One, I don't know what was on his mind to be releasing music at the middle of a Wednesday night. I don't know what happened. I don't know what was in his mind to do that, but I'm glad that he did that. That's number one. Number two, I love that he dropped Lecrae in D1. That's a huge up for the Christian hip hop community. That's a huge boost for them, right? There's a huge win for Lecrae in D1. So glad he name dropped them, right? Because I feel like the Christian hip hop community needs more recognition, especially with rappers like Lecrae and D1 who don't make Christian rap corny, right? Like D1 is a good rapper. Lecrae is a good rapper. They just so happen to make Christian music, right? But you can hear and tell when somebody's a Christian rapper than just a rapper who makes Christian music. You feel me? Does that make sense? Like I'm a Christian rapper, but D1 and like it's like I don't know how to describe it, but I don't know if that makes sense. But if y'all want me to dive deeper into that, just let me know and I can dive deeper into that. But yes, I think that Kendrick does a lot of great things with this drop, right? One, just dropping in period is a great thing for Kendrick to do. However, at the same time, I think that when I say he, I'm talking about Dot specifically. I think that Dot needs to just sit and just like we're in too deep. If he wanted to do this, he should have did it earlier. But at the same time, he was giving us signs and hints that it should have done. Like if you go back and listen to Element that dropped in 2017, he was giving us signs and hints of what he wanted to do. But it's too late. We're in too deep. This new system that we're in are in too deep. The labels are starting to partner away from TikTok and Spotify and Apple Music so they can start their own streaming platforms. We're in too deep. The cutoffs that are happening in hip hop and R&B are happening at such a fast rate. And all these label heads, all these different labels and branches of labels that once were are no longer. And all these label heads are either fired and don't have a job or they're becoming some bootleg A&Rs. We are in too deep. You're trying to save a culture that's in too deep in the fire. And you know why I think hip hop is like this right now? It's because they couldn't oversaturate it. They couldn't find an artist that could stick and make the culture into theirs, right? The same way they did with rock, the same way they did with jazz, country, tried to do with jazz, the same way that they tried to do with every other disco, every other genre of music that black people created, right? Hip hop and R&B and jazz and gospel to a certain extent are the only hip hop, because I just thought about CCM. Hip hop, R&B, jazz are the only three in my mind right now that has stayed and remained black throughout the test of time, right? Excuse me. Those are the only three that I can think of right now off the top of my head that has stayed and remained black. Oh, like reggaeton, but I don't like reggae, Afrobeat. I don't count that type of music because we know why. Come on now. Like they ain't. Actually, nah, y'all know that white dude that be that had the dreads. I'm Pondy head. When it turn red. I know what song I'm talking about. That the white dude that was like, never mind. But yes, so the mainstream ones that aren't obviously like, like y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. But hip hop, R&B, and got jazz are the only three right now that I can think of that are like has remained black throughout the test of time, right? And that has been trying to get converted, like R&B with artists like John B. Who else? There's been plenty of white R&B singers. Yeba's like a new white like R&B singer, right? And like artists in hip hop, they had plenty of artists that tried to do Vanilla Ice, Jack Harlow. The only successful one, in my opinion, not the only like major successful one was Eminem, but that's because Eminem could really rap. And I think that that's why hip hop is starting to look the way it is. I think that we need to start taking hip hop back. But also I think the OGs in hip hop needs to do a better job with welcoming the young people in. Like again, like if you guys don't start ushering young people in to start shifting the culture, then the culture is going to remain the same that y'all like and love. That's why y'all have to stop being prisoners of the moment and look at where the culture is today, and not think about how we can go back to what it was, but think about how we can move the culture forward from where we are today. Y'all are trying to go backwards. We don't need to go back. What my girl Kamala say? We not going back. We have to go. Time moves forward. Time moves forward. You can't go and restart today. You can't go to yesterday and restart that day and do that day over. You only have tomorrow. We only have tomorrow. Tomorrow's the only time that we have. So why are we trying to fix hip hop yesterday? Why are we trying to fix hip hop like it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago? We need to be looking at hip hop in 2024. Look at the streaming and services 2024. There's too many great hip hop heads and minds, too many great people who are in the industry, who were in the industry, people who aren't attached to labels, who can get together or aren't attached to any big media source that has to stay under contract and can't talk too much about this, that, or the third. There's too many people with these great minds that can all come together as one and be like, hey, how can we save this culture that we love today? I need some OGs. I need some young niggas to all get together and be like, hey, this is how we all move forward as a culture. This is what the music needs to sound like. This is how we need to move as one, as a business. Where hip hop is not one. All this beefing and stuff is great for me. I love the beef. Beefing is great for me because I get views, I get money, I get to release podcasts, I have topics to talk about. Beefing is amazing for me. Beefing is not amazing for the culture because the culture does not need to be more divided than what it is now. Kendrick, you can't be sitting up here and preaching unity. We need to come together as a culture. We need to come together and do X, Y, and Z, and to change hip hop and to flip the table on everybody. You can't keep saying that and then keep dividing the culture, my nigga. You can't do it. You can't start a hip hop civil war, then on the flip side be like, you know what, all I really want to do is just, you know what, we really need to change the culture because I don't like what the culture's at. We really need to change the culture and flip the culture. You can't do that and start a hip hop civil war. You know why? Because we need as many hands on deck as possible. I need as many of you niggas to get along so hip hop can last another 50 years. I need as many of y'all to get along as possible so I can see hip hop last another 50 years. Hip hop is the reason I have a livelihood. I'm not going to get too deep in my story now, but a big reason on why I have what I have and why I'm so fortunate to do the things that I do is because of go-go and hip hop. So those two genres of music are so cemented in my heart and in my mind, and they will run deep in my veins for forever. I think artists like Kendrick, I'm talking straight to you, straight to the source. You are too popular, and your voice means too much for you. And again, I don't think he's like not being strategic. I just think his approach is lackadaisical. I just think how he's approaching this is lackadaisical. I don't think that I don't think that he's being lazy, but I just think the approach is lackadaisical. Let me just drop these songs and just let the world talk, right? I think that's the wrong approach. I don't think the world needs to do talk. Think you need to talk. The world doesn't need to talk anymore. You do. If you want to see this change happen, you make it happen. Fuck the music. You talk. Mike done unplugged. Lord Jesus. But yes, you talk. I'm tired of this cryptic message. I'm tired of this you not saying what it is and fake saying what it is and kind of saying what it is and leaving everything up for interpretation. Talk. It's time. If you really want to save this, it's time. It's time for you to step up and do it and talk. Shout out Kendrick Lamar. We love Kendrick. I love everything. I love that new song you dropped, but it's time. It's time. Big boy pants. Come on. Let's get it. Next thing on the docket, Shannon Sharpe's IG Live. Where my dogs at? 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 Hey, Unc put on. Unc put on. Unc put on. Hey, listen, if y'all don't know what happened, Shannon Sharpe went on live. If y'all don't know who Shannon Sharpe is, Shannon Sharpe is an athlete. He was on he was on First Take. We won't get to why he was on First Take. He's the host of a show called Nightcap. He's a host of podcast Club Shay Shay. But Hall of Famer, Hall of Fame football player, won multiple Super Bowl championships, one of the greatest tight ends of all time. Shannon Sharpe accidentally went on IG Live while he was doing the nasty with some lady named Michelle. Now, the world has been asking, Michelle, wherever you are, can you please come out of hiding? Can you please come out of hiding? The world just wants to know who you are. Michelle, hey, listen. Hey, listen. All right, I'm gonna try to be mature during this topic, right? Everybody does the do, right? The do gets done, right? You're grown. When you're grown, and you do what you got to do, and you do it, right? But Unc, come on, we need some more protect. We need some. How you accidentally go on IG Live? You know how many, nigga? Do you know how many steps it takes to go live? Like, you need to hold on. Let me walk through. Wait. Do you know how many steps it takes to because he said I didn't know I was on IG Live. It was an accident. How the hell you accidentally go on IG Live while you hunching? You hunching and you on IG Live? Hold on, you have to unlock your phone. You have to go to the Instagram app. You have to go to where the stories are. Then you have to go, like, it's so intent, like going on live is such an intentional thing. I don't know how you did that on accident. Now, am I saying that it was staged? Because if y'all don't know, there was some allegations that Shannon Sharpe was playing for the other team. If you catch my drift. Now, there's nothing wrong with playing for the other team, but it was just allegations going on regarding Shannon Sharpe and him playing on the other team. Correct? Right. So boom, as you know, as the allegations going around, because Shannon Sharpe be wearing these little tight little sweatpants, be like cutting off the circulation. Shannon Sharpe is too big to be wearing all these tight clothes. Like, he need to get some like looser fit clothes. Like, he's just too never mind. Pause. Anyway, so yeah, so those are allegations that were going around, right? As those allegations were going around, this new thing comes out of him obviously not playing for the other team, playing. Boy, was he playing for the let's just say me and Unc play on the same team and we ain't coming off the bench. We play for the same team, but we ain't coming off the bench. Me and Unc starters. Me and Unc starters. Now, if you haven't listened to the audio, because it's a visual, but you can't see them. You just like see a headboard and like the ceiling. So you can't see them, but you can hear them. If you haven't listened to the audio, just go on Twitter, type in Shannon Sharpe, and it's probably most likely gonna be the first thing that pops up. And it was just so like, unc, you like that's nasty. That's nasty. I really, and it was so nasty. I really felt like I was watching, like listening to my real life uncle. I never met Shannon Sharpe before, but I feel like I was listening, like that was my real life uncle, and I just felt uncomfortable. But like at the same time, like, hey, baby, you're grown. You're grown. Now, Shannon Sharpe, after everything happened, he did post on Instagram saying that his account got hacked, right? But later that night, after he posted that his account got actually, this happened the same night Kendrick dropped. This is crazy. Wednesday night was super crazy. After that, right? Uh, what was I supposed to say? Oh yeah. So after he said his account got hacked, he hopped on Nightcap with Ocho Cinco, his show with Ocho Cinco. He hopped on Nightcap, right? And he admitted, he was like, "Nah, I was not hacked. That was something that happened on totally by accident. I didn't even know I was live. People was calling me, texting me saying that I was live." He ended up saying that his assistant ended up ending the live. Somebody who has access to his account ended up ending the live for him, because he was like, because if he didn't end it right, if he would have just let it keep going, it would have kept going for about 10, 15, 20 minutes. These are his words. These are Unc's words, not mine. Big Unc's words, not mine. So yeah, and with this being a result of this, right, and I know we're laughing and this is all fun and games, right, but this isn't funny because he did end up getting fired by ESPN. ESPN is Disney, so Disney essentially fired him, which is very on brand for Disney, right? Disney does not play any of those games. However, I do appreciate Shannon Sharpe taking accountability. I do appreciate Shannon Sharpe being like, "Hey, I'm not going to sit up here and be like, hey, such and such did this, and so and so did that, and when he did that and she did that," he was like, "I'm not going to be out here pointing the finger," because Shannon Sharpe has to take accountability for Shannon Sharpe's actions, and I do appreciate Unc for doing that and taking an accountability. But I just want you to know, Shannon Sharpe, Mr. Shannon Sharpe, sir, Uncle Sharpe, Unc, I just want you to know that that this lives on for forever. This lives on for forever. Now, a lesson to be learned here, right? If you're hunching, doing the nasty, being grown, doing grown folks business, leave your phone somewhere where you can't accidentally get on IG. Leave your phone somewhere where you can't accidentally answer a call. Leave your phone somewhere where you can't even hunch dial somebody. He done hunch dialed the Instagram live. He done hunch dialed over, well, how many followers Shannon Sharpe got? I think he got over 2-3 million followers. He done hunch dialed over 3 million people. And leave your phone somewhere far. That's the advice here. Leave your phone somewhere far, somewhere people can't get it, somewhere you can't hunch dial. Cause he was out here. I been stroking. Shannon Sharpe was out here stroking. Next thing on the docket, real quick, I do want to give a really fast RIP, rest in peace to the legend Frankie Beverly. He passed, I think he passed on 9/11. RIP Frankie Beverly, man. That was a hard pass. That's why I sung Before I Let You Go. Before the pause started. Man, that was just a hard time, man. Just RIP Frankie Beverly. September, we've lost a lot of legends. A lot has been happening in September. This is only the second week. This is only the second week of September, and September came in and was like, "Listen, hey, it is what it is." But this is my birthday month, so I ain't gonna complain. Listen, if y'all want to send me some happy birthday, some gifts, man, my birthday is September 19th, 2005. If y'all wanna I said 2005. I didn't mean to say the year, but my birthday. I didn't want y'all to know how old I was turning. I'm turning 19. This is my 19 on the 19th, 9/19, turning 19. Yes, if y'all want to support, show love, please do. But yes, RIP Frankie Beverly, a legend, so many hits, so many great records, so many legendary records, so many legendary moments. I'm glad that he got to see his last show ever, and I'm glad that he got to see the love and support that he has, and how much of a fan that people of him that people are, and how much people love and respect his music, and how much his music has impacted the world. Right? Before I Let You Go, Cookout Anthem. That's gonna be played at the cookouts for forever and ever and ever. Next thing on the docket, Taraji P Henson said that she's the greatest actor of all time. So, her and Don Cheadle, they are doing a press run. They were doing a press run for the movie Fight Night. With it's Taraji, Don Cheadle, then Chloe Bailey's in there. Terrence Howard's in there. Kevin Hart is in there. I think Samuel L. Jackson's in the movie. It's a star-studded cast, right? It's called Fight Night, and Don Cheadle and so Taraji P Henson were doing. Is that man's name Don Cheadle? I think his name's Don Cheadle. Is his name Don Cheadle? Why am I drawing a blank? Not Julio, fool. Jesus, Don Cheadle. Yes, that's his name. So him and Don Cheadle married. Oh, shout out Don. Why she look like Rachel Duvenall? Never mind. Shout out Don Cheadle and his wife. Beautiful family. So Don Cheadle was asking Taraji questions, because it was like a back and forth thing where they ask each other questions. And Don Cheadle was like, "Who's the greatest actor of all time?" Taraji sat there with the utmost confidence. It was like, "You're looking at her. You're sitting right across from her." Don Cheadle's so stupid. Don Cheadle gonna look around and be like, "Where's she at? Where's she at?" Now, I have a lot of respect for Taraji as an actress, right? Because me and Taraji had the same acting teacher, Miss Vera Katz. Shout out Professor Katz, the greatest acting teacher I've ever had. She's such a genius when it comes to acting. I love me some Katz. Me and Taraji had the same acting teacher, and so I know where Taraji gets her skill set from, and Taraji's very skilled. So I understand and I know who Taraji gets her skill set from. Like, I know who Taraji gets her skill set from personally, right? On a personal level. And okay. However, Taraji, there's a list of actors and actresses that are better than you. There's a list that are better than you. Now, I will never make anybody feel like if you think that you're the best at something, by all means, believe that you're the best, and hold yourself to that standard of the best. And I love that, right? And that also makes sense to like the whole pay thing and the whole pay wage thing, right? And why she wants to get paid a certain amount and get paid like this actor and this actor and this actor, right? And Taraji's resume speaks for itself. Like, Taraji has an outstanding resume. However, you're not a Viola Davis. You're not an Angela Bassett. You're not a Meryl Streep. You're not a Denzel. You're not a Samuel L. You're not a who else? You're not a Robert De Niro. You're not a drawing a blank on all my actors here. My actor bag. Oh, I'm getting exposed. You're not a James Earl Jones. RP to the GOAT, James Earl Jones. But y'all get the point. You're not these level of actors, right? Not resume wise, but skill wise. You're just not on this level of actor. You're not even the best actor in the movie that you're in. Samuel L. Jackson's the best actor in the movie that you're in. So, but I say that to say, like, I love the confidence of Taraji, and I love that she feels and she stands that she's the greatest actor of all time. But Taraji, come on, let's be serious. Let's show some respect for the legends that came before you. Please, there has to be some line. Again, I will never shit on anybody who believes that they're the best. If you believe that you're the best, prove it. Show me that you're the best. Do a movie with Viola Davis and go toe to toe. Let me see y'all. Let me see y'all fight it out. Let me see y'all duke it out. Do a movie with Denzel. Do a scene with Denzel. Let me see y'all duke it out. Let me see y'all fight it out. And then we can probably go back to these conversations. All right. And last thing on the docket before we get on out of here, because y'all know I don't like talking too much. Sadly, very sadly, Pharell and Chad are no longer on speaking terms. If you don't know who Chad is the other half of the Neptunes. If you don't know who the Neptunes is the Neptunes was a group of Pharrell and Chad. That's That was the Neptunes, Pharrell and Chad. That's it. And they were making beats throughout the early 2000s, and you couldn't go anywhere without hearing the Neptunes beat. Everybody had a Neptunes beat. The Neptunes were everywhere, all on the radio. Your favorite artist had a Neptunes beat. Your back then in the early 2000s, Missy Elliott, Jay-Z, you name them, they probably had a Neptunes beat, or they worked with the Neptunes in some way, shape, or capacity. Now, the reason why I put this on the docket is because of what Pharrell said. Pharrell said specifically that that while him and Chad are no longer on speaking terms, he still has love for Chad, and he wished nothing but Chad success for him and for his future, right? For Chad's future. Now, people like, okay, like probably saying they're like, okay, that he's just wishing him the best, right? Wishing him success. That's not how I took it. That's not how I looked at it. I looked at it as, and I might be reaching here, but I looked at it as Pharrell did something to Chad, or Pharrell and Chad had a falling out, and it was Pharrell's fault. And now that people are asking Pharrell what happened, or if him and Chad are on speaking terms, and Chad kind of like falling into the background, now Pharrell has a chance to be like, me and Chad, we're not speaking terms, but I love him though. I think Pharrell did something shiesty. I do, honestly. And I love Pharrell. Me and Pharrell have a picture together when I was 3. Blueprint 3 tour, Jay-Z, same night, first ever concert. I was backstage with Pharrell. Pharrell babysat me. We took a picture like this. Super dope night, one of the best nights of my life, right? And I love Pharrell as an artist, as a producer, as a creative, as a visionary. And I don't want to, and this is just speculation, right? This is just me assuming, right? And Pharrell doesn't seem like a person that would do any like ill will or any like anything of that like nature purposely, but I feel like Pharrell did do something, because that's just the like I did something to you response. That's the like I fucked up, I did something shady. That's just that type of response, right? Like that's like the response, you know what, oh man, wow, we're not speaking, but like I wish nothing but the best. It's nothing but love. That's the I did something crazy, and we just both agreed not to speak on it no longer. That's what I get from that. And I hope that you got something from the Art Spot Podcast this week. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of the Art Spot Podcast. But before we get on out of here, I will give y'all my Dead or Alive. Now, if this is your first time watching the Art Spot Podcast, hello, I'm your host, Eric Curry III. If this is your last time watching the Art Spot Podcast, well, goodbye. But Dead or Alive is a segment on the podcast where me or the artist on the pod gets to choose artists that we would like to work with that is dead or alive. Now, we can choose one artist, we can choose 100 artists. This is my podcast. I'm going to do whatever I want. My Dead or Alive for today is I'm gonna do a RIP Dead or Alive. I'm gonna do all dead. I'm gonna do James Earl Jones. I'm gonna do Frankie Beverly, since they just passed. I did for Show Me Quan last week. James Earl Jones. I'm gonna do Frankie Beverly, and I'm gonna do dang, what's his name? James Avery, Uncle Phil from the Fresh Prince. I'm going to do him too. I think his name's James Avery. If it's not, I apologize, but I think his name's James Avery. But yes, thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode of the Art Spot Podcast. I've been your host, Eric Curry III. You can follow me on Instagram at Eric Curry III. You can follow the podcast at Art Spot Podcast. If you are tuned in on your favorite podcast platform, please give me a 5-star and a review. You can just say that this is the greatest podcast you have ever heard, and that will suffice. If you are listening on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time we post a podcast. Remember that artists never die. I love you. God loves you. Do something that you love every single day. Do it well. Do it with purpose. Do it with meaning. And be happy, because there's a lot to be happy about. You're alive today. You're well today. You've made it to today. I will see y'all when I see y'all, boys. I gotta edit this pod. I am out.